Things Gods Break is the sequel. Games Gods Play leaves off very much on a cliffhanger. I don't want to ruin the cliffhanger too much for folks who haven't read it yet. Just know that our main couple, is they found happy-ish, and now they're separated, and starting kind of in a place where it's going to be hard for them to get physically back together. Um, and now what I'm about to say is probably gonna, tell you exactly where they are, because we get to explore Tartarus. And I had so much fun exploring Tartarus and the Titans, who I was aware of, kind of the bigger named Titans, Kronos, Rhea, you know, those Titans, but I didn't know certainly all of the Titans. And so getting to research them and know them was really interesting, and then kind of coming up with my own versions of them. I would say even more so than the gods and goddesses, because the Titans they aren't written about nearly as much in any kind of mythology or antiquity. They're more like the general vague backstory to the gods and goddesses story. And so there's not a ton of information out there about them. And in fact, I had to make sure I was very careful while I was doing research, because initially I would look up things like their powers, and it would give me like Rick Riordan's Titans. And I was like, nope, not those. Like, I need the antiquity stuff only, please. And so it just told me that there wasn't a whole ton out there about them. So it was just really fun to kind of get to know all those different powers, and play with them, and their little, and what we do know about them. Um, so we get to play with them. They're very much the bad guys. Um, and then I will say that just like in Games Gods Play, there is a trials element to the second book. So it's a very different setup. It's not the Crucible games. It's not about putting a king or queen on the throne, but she does have to be put through a series of, they're not really tests so much as um, what she has to do to try to get out. The Titans are still the newest characters, and that's probably the biggest group. And because we spend quite a bit of time exploring them, we don't actually see a lot of the characters from book one. We see a few of them. We'll definitely see a lot more of them in book three, kind of all of them from the two books combined, in one bigger epic ending. Um, let's see. I'm trying to think of who else I add in there. I will say that I had fun. One of the things I had fun with in the first book was just mentioning and kind of um, teasing at the fact that the Greek gods weren't the only gods in the world; that all the other mythologies exist right alongside them. So, for instance, Lyra's axes were originally gifts from Odin to the oldest son of Kronos. And so that's why they have kind of Norse iconography on them. And so I delve into that a little bit more in book two, and we'll explore it even more in book three, just introducing other mythologies, other gods and goddesses. So that was really fun.